The boy picked up a piece of bread in the supermarket. I'm going to sneak bread into my clothes. Just then, a middle-aged man stopped him from behind. Looking at the boy's scars, the uncle couldn't bear it. He took out his wallet and bought the bread. No one knew that this generous man could not even support himself anymore. The two were sitting on the steps outside the house. The boy gulped down his food. The uncle sat by and watched quietly. After eating and drinking, the two went to the river to take a bath. Looking at the bruises on the other party's back, the uncle felt very uncomfortable. Decided to take in the boy temporarily. That night, the uncle took the boy into the car. The two looked up at the starry sky and exchanged their hearts. Parents divorced and left the boy on the side of the road. Homeless, he wanted to go to Seoul to join his grandfather. The uncle decided to help the poor boy, but the next morning, the boy was nowhere to be seen. The uncle's money was also stolen by the forbidden tree. The man sat by the side of the car, lost in thought. I can't help but sigh loudly that the good people in this world really suffer. As he spoke, the uncle's heart attack The dog next to him immediately came forward to remind his owner that it was time to take medicine. Looking at Happy's worried expression, the uncle smiled bitterly to himself. People these days are not as grateful as a dog. After the break, Lao Wang took the dog and continued to set off. I have no intention of going home at all. It's not because I don't want to, but now he has no home. Men drop out of school to work, with their own efforts to marry and have children. I thought life would go on in peace. But a routine physical examination revealed serious heart disease. So he had no money for surgery. The only way to survive is through medication. The wife who learned of this did not hesitate, decisively filed for divorce, returned to her mother's house with her daughter. Looking at the empty room, old Wang's face was confused. He didn't know where to go next. The man walks down the street in despair. The convenience store is holding a raffle. He approached curiously. It was as if he could see the embarrassment of the uncle. God has blessed him this time. He won the first prize for a family trip to the hot springs. At this point, just double-click the screen and write good luck. Not only can you bless your parents' good health, but you can also fulfill your heart's wishes. The man shook his head and smiled bitterly. The once lively family is now left to itself. Looking at Happy beside him, he silently made a decision to complete the final journey of his life with his dog. As soon as he said he was leaving, Lao Wang took all the valuable things at home and set off in his 1982 car. Unexpectedly, I met the boy on the first day. Helpless uncle had to come to the waste recycling bin. Penniless, he hoped to exchange these things for some money. But the boss thinks these things are completely worthless. She politely rejected him. Unfortunately, Lao Wang had no choice but to call a friend, but no one was willing to lend it to him. The wave of layoffs affected everyone around. Nobody had any spare money. The man walked back to the room in despair. Suddenly, he found Happy lying on the ground with a face full of pain. Pharaoh was terrified enough. This was his only relative in the world. The kind owner drove the dog to the hospital. After the doctor's treatment, his life was saved successfully. But he didn't wait for the uncle to be happy for long. A huge bill was sent to him. Lao Wang begged the store manager again, hoping to accept his things. Looking at the man's desperate eyes, the boss still agreed. After paying the toll, the rest of the money can barely be used as travel expenses. After greeting the boss, one person and one dog set off again. Keep moving towards the place of your dreams. The dog sticks its head out of the car, breathing the free air. That funny look, amused old Wang Nian. But as time went by, men have less and less money in their hands. He tried to find a job locally, but the factory here doesn't want him either. Looking at the heavy rain drifting outside the car, Pharaoh was a little lost. It seems that people like him have long been forsaken by society. One day, they went to a seaside cafe. I'm going to have some lunch here. But just then, Lao Wang suddenly felt stuffy in his heart. He quickly reached out for the medicine, but he found that he had already eaten it all. Looking at the dog's worried expression, men use force to comfort each other, but medicine can't cure it anyway. It's okay, not to eat. He got out of the car and bought a cup of coffee, bought Happy a meal with the last of the money. Looking at the exquisite kennel at the entrance of the store, old Wang got up and started chatting with his boss. During the conversation, the man noticed the boss's love for dogs, so I made a decision in my heart. He and Happy sat by the river for a long time, enjoy the sunset in silence. It's time to leave. Wang found the shopkeeper. Asked him to adopt Happy. Looking at the surprised eyes of the other party, the man muttered to himself. Now he was penniless. They are unable to feed the dog at all. Then, Lao Wang wrote Happy's name in the kennel, put the dog leash in the hands of the boss, forcefully turned around and left. Looking at the owner who got into the car alone, Happy seemed to have realized something. He kept howling, attempting to attract the owner's attention, no matter how hard Wang tried to persuade him. Happy always stuck to his own ideas. Compared to a stable life, he prefers to be by his master's side. Let's spend the last days of our lives together. In the end, Lao Wang still got out of the car reluctantly. Take Happy with you. Can I take a look at you? The face of the past. You can't get that poem when you run out of pen and ink. Can't replace me. P. There is a circle. They walked aimlessly through the mountains. The man suddenly felt uncomfortable, just about to stop. Something terrible happened.